Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, bullet-riddled body of an overman found at his home. The Hanover police are probing the death of a man whose bullet-riddled body was found at his home on Wednesday morning. The deceased has been identified as 45-year-old Bruce Allen, also called the Biggs, of Keytop, Lucy in the parish. Reports are that residents heard explosions coming from the direction of Allen's home about 9:15 p.m. on Sunday, but they did not notify the police. However, the police were later summoned after a resident found the body at Allen's home on Wednesday morning. No motive has been established for the killing. Sergeant Arlene McBean elected chairman of Jamaica Police Federation. Sergeant Arlene McBean has been elected chairman of the Jamaica Police Federation, the union that represents rank and file members of the Jamaica Police Force. Delegates voted for a new leadership corps late Wednesday evening at the Federation's annual conference at the Hilton Rose Hall Hotel in Montego Bay, St. James. McBean and the 7 other officials will form the Central Executive Committee of the Federation and will serve for a year. The other members are Sergeant Lloyd Duncan, the new General Secretary, Corporals Peter Gay Williams and Tanisha Lewis, Detective Constable Romaine Archer, and Constable Coy Marriott. 2 inspectors, Blanche Codner and Jacqueline Brown, were elected ahead of Wednesday's vote. The election was conducted by the Electoral Office of Jamaica. McBean was first elected in May 2018, but her one-year tenure was marred by a vote of no confidence that removed her from office in January 2019. However, a court ordered her reinstatement in March that year. McBean, the first woman chairman, returned to the top post amid another leadership turbulence in the leadership of the Federation. Corporal Rohan James, who was re-elected for a second consecutive term as a chairman last year, was booted after he was suspended from police duties in July 2023 by then Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson. Action was taken against him over his public criticism of the police high command. He is battling the issue in court. Inspector Codner was later appointed as the chairman to complete the term. The Jamaica Police Federation represents members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force from the rank of constable to inspector. The Federation falls under the Constabulary Force Act and is tasked to bring matters affecting the welfare and efficiency of the police force to the Commissioner of Police and the Minister of National Security. U.S. student accused of torturing ex-girlfriend remanded until July 24. The university student who allegedly burnt and tortured his ex-girlfriend on the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies was further remanded until July 24 for further case management. Both the defense and the prosecution on Wednesday said they are in receipt of the forensic psychiatric evaluation report, which is a part of ongoing discussions surrounding a potential plea deal. They are also in receipt of Mr. Hyde's social inquiry report and antecedents. Mr. Hyde is accused of torturing his ex-girlfriend in his dorm room at the University of the West Indies, Mona, a year ago. He is charged with assault occasioning grievous bodily harm, use of malicious communication, assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and false imprisonment. It's alleged that between February 6 and 9, 2023, Mr. Hyde locked his ex-girlfriend inside his dorm room, where he repeatedly burnt her with a clothes iron all over her body. The woman was rescued and a report was made to the police. Mr. Hyde was subsequently arrested and charged. CRC says sole allegiance to Jamaica should be a prerequisite to sit in Parliament. Amid a widespread debate on the citizenship status of those eligible to sit in Parliament, the Constitutional Reform Committee says sole allegiance to Jamaica should be a prerequisite. This comes as opposition leader Mark Golding's citizenship status has become a point of contention after he admitted that he was also a British citizen by way of inheritance. Member of the Constitutional Reform Committee, Dr. Lloyd Barnett, gave a breakdown of the committee's considerations which led to the proposal.
That is the critical and most important qualification necessary for the holding of these important offices. And it has been applied to the president also, that we recommend should be established in the new Republican form of constitution. The question which has arisen is not as to whether Jamaican citizenship should be the essential qualification, but what is the impact where a person has dual or other citizenships. And the approach which was taken by the Constitutional Reform Committee is that other citizenship, which as we know can result from the fact that my grandmother married somebody else in another country which gives me citizenship by descent, should not disqualify me. That was the basic approach we took, but focused on the essentials of that duality, and that is whether or not that person has a conflicting allegiance. We took the view that if a person is representing Jamaicans in our parliament, then that person cannot owe a duty to another state, which may sometimes come into conflict with Jamaica's interests. As far as I'm concerned, if the cabinet asks us to reconsider the matter, I'm sure all the members will be quite willing to reconsider it, but the committee has not met to, as I say, to deal with it in that particular context. So it will have to be resubmitted to the committee, if it is so desired.
In the 103-page report, which was tabled in Parliament on Tuesday, it was also explicitly stated that any references to Commonwealth citizenship status should be removed from the Jamaican Constitution. It says that the Constitution is not the appropriate legislation to deal with citizenship matters and has recommended that separate legislation be crafted. The CRC noted that there were no provisions in other Commonwealth jurisdictions that allow a Jamaican citizen to become a member of Parliament. The committee has also recommended that Parliament be empowered to confer privileges on or make special provisions for CARICOM citizens by way of ordinary legislation. The recommendations cover matters relating to the President, the composition of the Senate, and the enactment of a referendum law, among others. The report is available to the public via the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs website. Sentencing delayed for JDF physiotherapist who killed a wife. The sentencing for former Jamaica Defense Force physiotherapist Coyote Burnett, who stabbed and killed his wife Nordraka Williams Burnett in December 2018, was on Wednesday postponed to Friday in the Home Circuit Court. The sentencing was delayed after the presiding judge, Justice Dale Palmer, requested additional time. On February 5, Burnett, who had been charged with murder, pleaded guilty to manslaughter based on diminished responsibility ahead of the start of the trial. Burnett's attorney, Jacqueline Samuels Brown, has recommended that he be given a supervisory order with no more than 3 years. The prosecutor, however, has suggested a starting point of 5 years, arguing that Burnett needs to be punished so that he can understand the consequences of his actions, as he was aware since 2008 that he was suffering from mental illness. The military man, who has struggled with mental illnesses over the years, had confessed to committing the act, claiming voices told him to kill his 34-year-old wife. The body of the attorney at law was found lying on a bed with multiple stab wounds inside the couple's West Kirkland Heights St. Andrew house on the morning of December 13, 2008. The couple's 2 young daughters, who were not harmed, were inside the house at the time of the incident. The court heard that Williams Burnett was first diagnosed with generalized anxiety depression in 2008, but that his condition worsened and resulted in him being diagnosed with a major depression disorder with anxious distress in January 2018. The court further heard that the ex-soldier, who was diagnosed with a schizoaffective disorder, the depression type, was at one point placed on suicide watch. During the trial, the statement of his then 8-year-old daughter, which detailed her experience on the night of the unfortunate incident, was read into evidence. "I heard Mommy shouting at Daddy. Then I heard Daddy talking, but I did not hear Mommy responding. Early Thursday morning, I went to look for Mommy and Daddy. I saw their bedroom door open, and I saw Mommy's 2 legs at first. Then I saw Mommy lying on the bed. I saw something red on the bed. The red thing that I saw on the bed looks like blood, she said in her statement. I saw Mommy stand up and was screaming. Then I saw Mommy fall back on the floor, and I saw my daddy lift up Mommy and put her on the bed. When I saw Daddy lift up Mommy and put her on the bed, he walked to the bedroom door and closed it. He was in the room. When Daddy locked himself in the room, I went back into my room. I hugged my little sister and went to bed, but I could not sleep, she added.